The sky was blue with streaks of orange, birds chirping lazily across the trees as the car pulled up to a narrow village road surrounded by thick bush and the familiar sound of goats in the distance. Morẹ níkẹ stepped out of the car, sunglasses perched on her forehead, suitcase rolling behind her, and a soft sigh escaping her lips. "See you in 2 weeks," her mother said from the window. Morẹ níkẹ leaned in and smiled. "Don't forget to send me photos from Dubai, Mummy," her mom chuckled. "Try not to complain about the Wi-Fi, okay?" "I'll try," Morẹ níkẹ rolled her eyes playfully. "But no promises." The car pulled away slowly, and as the dust rose behind it, Grandma Adebayo appeared at the entrance of her compound, vibrant, strong, and glowing in a rich wine-colored wrapper with tiny beads around her wrist. Her eyes lit up. "Ayomi, my joy!" she called out, stretching her arms. Morẹ níkẹ ran into them like a child who hadn't visited in years, even though she was here just last Easter. "Grandma," she breathed in the scent of shea butter and wood smoke. "I've missed you." The woman held her face. "Come and grow fat this holiday, my daughter. You are too slim for a city girl." They both laughed. It wasn't long before Morẹ níkẹ settled into the rhythm of village life. She loved the coolness of the stream in the mornings. She would go there barefoot with the other girls, carrying small buckets just for fun. They would sit on the big stones near the water, dipping their feet and laughing over silly stories. One of them, a sweet girl named Abike, quickly became her new friend. Abike was soft-spoken, smart, and very kind, and they connected instantly. "Your skin is soft like city people," Abike told her one day as they bathed near the stream. "But you're not proud. I like you." "I like you too," Morẹ níkẹ smiled. They talked about everything, from hairstyles to the best firewood for roasting plantain. The moonlight nights were magical. Children gathered in the compound. The adults sat on low stools, roasting ground nuts or peeling oranges. Grandma would bring out her drum and start telling stories, folk tales that made the children scream and laugh. Morẹ níkẹ always sat close to her grandmother, head on her lap, listening. "Grandma," she asked one night as the fire crackled, "were you ever scared as a child?" Grandma smiled softly. "Of course. We were scared of darkness, of snakes, of spirits, but we were more afraid of breaking the rules." "What kind of rules?" But Grandma only smiled deeper. "One day I'll tell you." Morẹ níkẹ loved these moments. The smell of firewood, the fresh air, the safety of her grandmother's compound. She didn't even miss her phone. Not too much. One cool evening, as Morẹ níkẹ and Abike returned from the stream, they stopped at the village square. Old men sat playing ayo, their voices loud and slow like stories passed from lips to lips. She spotted Baba Juan, a respected elder sitting under the mango tree, smoking his pipe. She greeted him politely. "My daughter from the city," he said with a grin. "You've been blending with our people." "Yes, sir. I actually love it here." He nodded, then leaned slightly forward. "Just remember, in this village, we obey even the rules we do not understand." She smiled, not sure what he meant. "I'll remember, sir." The day before she was meant to return to the city, she woke up early to pack her bag. She folded her wrapper slowly, soaking in the last bits of village calm. It was nearly midnight when she came out to fetch water from the clay pot just outside the hut. The air was unusually cold. She had just stepped onto the veranda when she heard it. "Morẹ níkẹ!" It was her grandmother's voice. "Yes, Grandma?" she called out instantly, turning back into the house. She stepped into the bedroom. Her grandmother was lying down, asleep. "Grandma?" The old woman opened her eyes and sat up slowly. Why are you looking at me like that?" "I just heard you call my name." Grandma's face changed. "I didn't call you Morẹ níkẹ." Her throat suddenly dried. "No, it was you. You said Morẹ níkẹ, And I answered. Her grandmother sat up completely. She patted the space beside her on the mat. Sit down. Morẹ sat slowly, her heartbeat steady but puzzled. Grandma's eyes were serious now, the kind of seriousness that turns warmth into mystery. Morẹ, she said softly, there is something you must never do. If you ever hear your name called at night, especially at midnight, do not answer, not even if the voice sounds like mine. Morẹ blinked, then laughed nervously. Even if it's your voice? Yes. What if it's Mummy's voice? Still no. Morẹ shook her head with a tired smile. You mean, if I hear you, my own grandmother call me, I should not say yes, Grandma? Exactly, the old woman said firmly. Morẹ chuckled again. Grandma, please let me sleep. I'm going back to the city tomorrow. But the woman wasn't laughing. I'm serious, Morẹ. This is not a story for children. There are spirits that steal voices. They will call you with the voice of someone you trust, and the moment you answer, something opens. Morẹ stood slowly and smiled again. I love you, Grandma. I love you too. Don't forget what I said. She returned to the city the next day. Her mom picked her up at the park and hugged her tightly. So how was the village? Honestly, Morẹ said, I didn't want to leave. I miss Grandma already. That evening, over a glass of zobo, she told her mother about the strange warning Grandma had given her. To her surprise, her mother didn't laugh. In fact, her mom said quietly, I was told the same thing as a child. Morẹ raised her eyebrows. Really? Yes. And I never questioned it. I just obeyed. They said if you hear your name at night, don't answer. Just go to the person and ask, did you call me? Don't ever say yes from a distance. Why though? Because some voices are not from here. Back at boarding school, the air was buzzing with excitement. Her friends gathered in the dormitory, unpacking provisions and shouting updates from their holiday adventures. I went to Ghana. We went to Zuma Rock. We just chilled in Lekki. Then it was Morẹ's turn. I spent my holiday in the village with Grandma, she said with pride. Oh, one girl said. You still visit the village? Yes, I love it. She began telling them about the moonlight stories, the sweet roasted corn, the river, her friend Abake. And then, she added with a laugh, Grandma said something funny. She said I should never answer my name at midnight, even if I hear her voice. Some of the girls burst into laughter. One girl rolled her eyes. All these village superstitions. But another girl looked uneasy. My grandmother told me that too, she said quietly. I don't joke with that thing. Same here, another chimed in. I don't even answer during siesta unless I see who called me. But Morẹ just laughed. I love Grandma, but let's be honest, that one is just old people being dramatic. She didn't know that one day, the midnight voice would return. That evening, the girls gathered in the dining hall. Laughter echoed against the iron roofs. Jollof rice with dry fish was being served, and Morẹ told some of her table mates about her village experiences, the stream, Abeke, the moonlight stories. Then someone asked her, What's the strangest thing anyone told you in the village? She paused. A quietness settled on the table. She said slowly. My grandma warned me never to answer my name at midnight, even if I hear her own voice. What? Ada's spoon froze midair. It's a village thing, she added quickly. She said there are spirits that steal voices. Some girls laughed. Others went quiet. One senior girl leaned closer. My uncle said that too, that some calls are not human. It was a Friday night. The lights had just gone out for lights out. Mosquitoes hummed in the darkness. Rain tapped gently on the tin roof above. Morẹ lay on her bunk, facing the wall half asleep. Then, Morẹ, a soft whisper. From the corner of the dormitory, the voice was unmistakable. It was Ada's. Yes, Ada, she replied sleepily. Silence. She turned her head. Ada was already asleep, wrapped in her wrapper, snoring faintly. Morẹ sat up slowly, confused. She got down from the bed and walked across the dorm, her feet cold on the tiles. She shook Ada. "Did you call me just now?" Ada frowned in her sleep. "Number why?" No reason, but her hands were shaking. 2 nights later, she was brushing her teeth late in the hostel bathroom. All the other girls had gone to bed. She had stayed back to finish an assignment. The flickering yellow bulb above her cast long, ghostly shadows on the wet wall. She leaned closer to the mirror, spitting gently, when she heard it again. "Morẹ." It was Miriam's voice, her classmate who always borrowed lotion from her. This time, it came from just outside the bathroom door. She rinsed her mouth and called, "Miriam?" No answer. She opened the door and stepped into the corridor. Empty. All the doors were shut. She walked to Miriam's bunk. The girl was fast asleep. The next day, Morẹ asked her, "Did you call me last night?" Miriam blinked. "Call you? I went to bed after prep." Morẹ frowned. She began to feel cold inside. Over lunch break, she sat outside with Ada and 2 other friends. "I heard my name again last night," she said, shaking her head. "And it sounded exactly like Miriam." Ada's fork paused. "I'm beginning to think someone is mocking me, or watching me." Miriam looked up, wide-eyed. "Me? I didn't call you." "I didn't say you did," Morẹ snapped. "But it's your voice I heard." Miriam raised both hands. "Please, oh. If I want to call you, I'll call you to your face." Another friend giggled. "Maybe it's a ghost." Morẹ didn't laugh this time. She looked around and said sharply, "Whoever is copying my friends' voices, show your face. Stop hiding like a coward." A sudden wind blew past their bench. Ada stood and held her arm. "Don't talk like that, Morẹ. My grandmother says spirits hear us when we talk boldly." Morẹ rolled her eyes. "They can hear me. I'm not afraid of shadows." But her heart said something else. When midterm break came, she didn't feel excited. She needed rest. The voices were becoming too frequent. Her mother welcomed her at the door. "Come in. You've lost weight." Morẹ forced a smile. "Mummy, can we talk?" That night after dinner, she told both her parents everything, from the school calls to the village ones, to the incident with Ada and Miriam. Her father listened quietly. Her mother held her hand. "I told you not to answer," her mum said softly. "But what should I do?" she said, voice trembling. "They call me. I hear them clearly. I don't even know what's real anymore." Her father finally spoke. "Next time," he said, "don't reply. Stand still. Walk to the person if you must. But never say yes to a voice you cannot see." "And what if I do?" she asked quietly. "Then," he paused, "you open a door you may not be able to close." The night before she returned to school, she was in the living room watching TV. Her mum was in the kitchen. Her dad was reading in the room. It was quiet, peaceful. Then, "Morẹ?" Her mother's voice, from just beyond the sitting room window. She turned sharply. The curtains blew slightly. The outside light flickered. She stood. "Mummy?" No reply. She walked into the kitchen. Her mum was washing plates. "Mummy? Did you just call me?" Her mum looked confused. "No." Morẹ swallowed hard. Her mother slowly dried her hands and held her shoulders. "Please, no matter what, don't ever answer that voice again." Back in school after the short midterm break, Morẹ tried to focus on her studies. But something had changed. The voice she heard at home, her mother's voice, had stayed with her. She couldn't forget the look on her mum's face when she said, "No matter what, don't answer that voice again." Her bunkmate Ada noticed the difference. "You're quieter this week," Ada said one evening. "Is everything okay?" Morẹ nodded. "Just tired." But truthfully, she wasn't just tired. She was haunted by questions. What if something really was calling her? What if these weren't just coincidences? It was Thursday morning. The students were lining up for morning devotion. Morẹ níkẹ stood in her line, blinking slowly through half-sleep. Then, it happened again. Morẹ níkẹ. The voice came from her left, soft, calm, familiar. It sounded like her school mother, Bimpy. "Yes, Ma?" she replied aloud. Bimpy, standing 2 rows ahead, turned around, confused. "What is it?" she asked. "You called me." Bimpy frowned. "No, I didn't." Morẹ níkẹ's stomach dropped. Another girl beside her whispered, "Are you okay?" She nodded, but she didn't feel okay at all. The following week, she stayed behind after prep to copy some notes. It was past 9 p.m. Most of the students had gone back to the hostel. The classroom was silent except for the sound of her pen scratching paper. Then, she heard it again. "Morẹ níkẹ!" This time, it was Ada's voice. It came from right outside the window. "Yes, Ada!" she called without thinking. No response. She dropped her pen and rushed out. The corridor was empty. The windows glowed under the moonlight, and the wind had picked up. She returned inside and found her notebook page had been torn down the middle. No one had entered. No one had touched it. But it was split, like something sharp had dragged through it. She didn't sleep that night. When the school term finally ended, Morẹ níkẹ was the first to pack her box. Her parents were traveling again, this time for a business conference in South Africa. She didn't mind. In fact, she requested to return to Ijumo village. "I just want to be with Grandma," she told her mom on the phone. "I feel safer there." Her mom hesitated, then agreed. "Just listen to her. Don't argue." "I won't," Morẹ níkẹ promised, knowing fully well she already had. The village hadn't changed. The same cracked roads, the same scent of red oil and burning firewood, the same silence that spoke louder than the city's noise. Grandma Adebayo welcomed her with a tight hug. "You've grown taller." "I've grown more tired," Morẹ níkẹ whispered. The old woman said nothing, but her eyes stayed on her granddaughter longer than usual. For the first week, things were peaceful. She and Abeki spent hours by the stream again. They boiled sweet corn. They fetched water. They laid on grass under the trees and talked about boys, school, and dreams. But even Abeki noticed something. "You jump too quickly when someone calls you." Morẹ níkẹ forced a smile. "I'm just alert. Or afraid." She didn't respond. But that night, she heard the voice again. "Morẹ níkẹ." This time, it was Abeke's voice. Software sweet, exactly as it sounded in real life. "Yes," she called quickly. She walked out of the hut, but Abeke was already asleep in her own compound across the street. The next day, she asked. "I didn't call you," Abeke said. "I went to bed after eating yams." That evening, as the fire crackled and her grandmother pounded yam outside, Morẹ níkẹ brought it up again. "I heard Abeke's voice last night." The woman's hand stopped. "And did she call you?" "No." "And what did I tell you?" "I'm just tired, Grandma," she said, voice rising. "I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of hearing voices and no one claiming it. Whoever this thing is, I dare them to show their face." Her grandmother dropped the pestle. "Don't say that again." "Why not? Let them show themselves. Let me see what's hiding." Her grandmother rushed forward and covered her mouth with one hand. "Don't speak like that." "Why not?" she whispered. The old woman's eyes glistened with something deep. "Because some doors don't need to be knocked on. Some are already listening." 3 nights later, it rained. Hard. Thunder cracked like a whip over the village sky. Morẹ níkẹ couldn't sleep. She lay beside her grandmother, staring at the thatched ceiling. Then, through the storm, she heard it. "Morẹ níkẹ." It was her own voice, calling her. This time it wasn't a whisper. It was bold, confident, exact. She sat up slowly. "Grandma," she said. The woman stirred. "I heard it again." Her grandmother sat up slowly. "Was it me?" No. Then don't answer. It was me. The woman blinked, then rose silently and lit the lamp. If they're using your voice now, she said slowly, you must stop speaking to it. Not even in anger. Silence is your shield. The crickets chirped softly. The lamp beside the mat gave off a warm, amber glow. Morẹ was plaiting her hair with coconut oil while her grandmother sorted bitter leaf at the edge of the bed. She was humming softly, a peaceful night. Then she heard it. Morẹ, her grandmother's voice. Software natural. Yes, Grandma, she responded without thinking, turning around. Her grandmother paused and looked up. Don't yes me. I didn't call you. Morẹ blinked. But you just called my name now. You were humming and then you called me. Her grandmother shook her head. I didn't. Maybe it's your mind. My mind? She said, confused. Sometimes your brain plays tricks when you're tired. Morẹ nodded slowly, but deep down she knew what she heard. The next day, she and Abeke sat at their usual rock by the stream. Birds chirped above. The water shimmered. Abeke, she began, have you ever answered your name and found out no one called you? Abeke tilted her head. Number why? It keeps happening? You mean dreams? Number awake. In school, at home, here, even at this stream? Abeke leaned in. You need to stop answering. Morẹ exhaled. How do I know what's real anymore? Abeke was silent for a while. Then she said, maybe you're just special. Morẹ smiled weakly. Or maybe I'm just being watched. Later that evening, as the lantern flickered on the wooden shelf, Morẹ was arranging her clothes when she heard it again. Morẹ. Her grandmother's voice again. She turned sharply. Yes, Grandma? She walked quickly to the backyard where the voice came from. Her grandmother was sitting on a low stool, peeling yams. She looked up, puzzled. I didn't call you, child. Stop it, Morẹ snapped. Her grandmother blinked. I said stop it. I didn't call you. It was your voice. Don't say it wasn't. I swear I did not call you. Morẹ's hands clenched. Her jaw tightened. She walked back inside, breathing heavily. That night, she left the compound quietly and sat alone at the stream. The moonlight danced on the surface, but her heart was heavy. She hugged her knees, staring into the water. She didn't even notice Abeke approach. You're crying, Abeke said softly. Morẹ wiped her eyes. I'm tired, Abeke. Tired of being afraid, tired of being confused, tired of hearing people call me and then deny it. Abeke sat beside her. Then don't answer. I don't want to be the girl who's afraid of everything. Abeke was silent, then added, fear keeps people alive. The next evening, as the rain began to fall, thunder rumbling gently in the distance, Morẹ sat inside, drawing in her journal. Suddenly, Morẹ, her grandmother's voice, but this time the voice came from inside the room. Yes, Grandma? Her grandmother looked up from the mat, shocked. I didn't say anything. Morẹ stood trembling. But I heard you. I was praying silently, Grandma said. I didn't speak. Are you trying to make me mad? No, child. Then why does your voice keep calling me? I didn't call you. Maybe you don't even know you're doing it, she hissed. She stormed outside into the cool night air, her feet kicking against dry leaves. She shouted into the darkness, whoever you are, show yourself. Stop using my grandmother's voice. Stop hiding like a coward. Silence. Then, a single wind passed behind her. She turned. No one. She walked back into the hut and glared at her grandmother. I'm leaving. What? I'm going back to the city. You just got here. I don't care. I'll take the early morning bus. I'm done. Morẹ. No, Grandma, I'm done. This curse started in this village. You say it like it's normal, like hearing fake voices is part of life. Her grandmother's eyes welled with tears. "Don't say that." No wonder some of my friends hate the village. The superstitions, the fear, the madness. I see it now. I'm never coming back here. Grandma sat silently for a moment. Then she spoke in a low, calm voice. "I'm not your enemy, Morẹ, níkẹ. Maybe it's your thoughts. Maybe you've fed this fear so long it's taken root." Morẹ níkẹ exploded. "It's not in my mind. I'm trying to help." "No, Grandma. You say don't answer, but never how to stop hearing it. You say it's your mind when I hear voices loud and clear." Tears rolled down her face. Grandma reached out. "Come and sit down." But she pulled away. "I'm going back to Lagos." She turned and began packing in anger. Grandma watched quietly. The next morning, Morẹ níkẹ didn't eat. She hugged Abeke briefly. "I'll call you." "Please don't be angry," Abeke whispered. "I'm not angry," she lied. She couldn't even look her grandmother in the eyes as she boarded the village bus. Her grandmother waved quietly, but deep in her heart, she knew. The door had been opened, and when such doors are opened, they do not always close gently. The school gate opened slowly. Morẹ níkẹ rolled her travel box into the compound, eyes hidden behind dark shades. Her lips were dry, her spirit tired. No one knew what she carried with her, not in her luggage, but in her soul. Her bunkmate Ada hugged her as usual. "You left the village early this time." Morẹ níkẹ nodded without explanation. "I needed rest." She laid on her bed that night and stared at the ceiling. The silence was too loud, and when silence feels heavy, something else is listening. It was a Tuesday night. The girls were brushing their teeth before lights out. Morẹ níkẹ was at the far end of the bathroom mirror, rinsing her mouth. Then, she heard it. "Morẹ níkẹ." It came from inside the bathroom, but the voice was wrong. It was Ada's voice, yet twisted, echoing, hollow. "Yes, Ada," she replied, staring into the mirror. No one responded. When she turned, Ada was already outside, laughing with the other girls. Morẹ níkẹ dropped her toothbrush and backed away. In the mirror, she saw herself blink, then smirk, but she wasn't smirking. At 12:03 a.m., Morẹ níkẹ woke up with sweat on her neck. Her room was freezing. Then she heard it. "Morẹ níkẹ," her own voice, from above. She looked up. The ceiling fan wasn't moving, but the voice came again, soft and slow. "Morẹ níkẹ, come out," she screamed. Her scream woke everyone. The girls rushed toward her bed. She was shaking. I heard it again. I heard me." They all stared at her like she was mad. 3 nights later, the hostel matron found her at the edge of the school gate. Barefoot, sleepwalking, eyes wide open but blank. "Morẹ níkẹ, what are you doing outside?" She didn't speak. The woman rushed her back into the building. The next morning, she didn't remember a thing. During prep, her seatmate Ijeoma tapped her shoulder. "Morẹ níkẹ, were you whispering to me just now?" "What?" "You called my name, twice." "No, I didn't." Ijeoma leaned back. "Then who did?" That night, Ijeoma told the whole class. Now people were avoiding her. One night, at exactly 12 a.m., all the girls heard it. A single whisper. "Morẹ níkẹ!" But this time, everyone heard it. From under her bed, from the ceiling, from the walls. Morẹ níkẹ sat up and screamed, then collapsed. They poured water on her. Her eyes rolled backward. She muttered something, but no one understood. By morning, the principal had heard everything. The hostel was in chaos. Some girls refused to sleep in the dorm again. The school nurse said, "She's not sick, but something is not right." The principal wrote a letter. "We believe it is in the best interest of your daughter's well-being that you come and take her home immediately." Her parents arrived quietly the next day. Her mother hugged her tightly. Her father said nothing, just opened the door. On the way home, she whispered, "It's not over." They followed me. Her mother's hand tightened, and in the back seat of the car, the voice came again. "Morẹ níkẹ, from inside the car radio. But the radio was off. It had been 5 days since Morẹ níkẹ left school, but home didn't feel safe. Not anymore. At night, she heard scratching sounds on the window, even though no trees were nearby. She unplugged the TV, but it would flicker at midnight and call her name softly through the static. She told her parents everything. Her mother couldn't sleep. Her father now left the hallway lights on all night. One evening, as the generator ran outside and the room glowed yellow from rechargeable lamps, she burst into tears. "I don't want to go mad." Her mother hugged her tightly. "You won't. I won't let that happen." But her father quietly stepped into the kitchen and dialed a number. Her grandmother answered on the first ring. "Hello? Mama, it's getting worse. Please. What do we do?" There was silence. Then the grandmother said, "Bring her back to the village." Immediately. The next morning, they left Lagos before sunrise. Her parents didn't tell her where they were going at first. She figured it out by the time they passed Ibadan. She sat quietly in the back seat. The same road, the same trees. But this time, the village felt different. It wasn't calm. It felt like something was waiting. Grandma welcomed them with open arms, hugging her granddaughter tightly, whispering softly in her ear, "You're safe now. You're safe now." That night, they all slept in the same hut. Her father on a mat, her mother on a bamboo bed. Grandma sat by the oil lamp, fanning the room. And at exactly 12 a.m., "Morẹ níkẹ," it came again, this time not a whisper. It was loud, commanding. "Morẹ níkẹ!" She sat up, screaming. Her mother and father woke instantly. Her grandmother rushed over. She was shaking, sweating, and muttering, "They said I've been answering. They said I opened the door." By dawn, Grandma wrapped her head in white and led the family deep into the forest outskirts, to a sacred white hut surrounded by silence. There, they met her, an ancient woman, skin the color of fresh palm ash, dressed in all white, gown, scarf, anklets. Even her fingernails were painted white. She looked up from the floor without blinking. "She's been answering," the woman said before they even explained. "And when you answer, they come closer." They sat in a half circle. The woman in white said nothing for minutes, then finally, "If something doesn't replace her, it will enter her head." Her mother swallowed. "What do you mean?" "She'll go mad." Silence. "Is there a cure?" her father asked. The woman nodded once. "A life must replace her own. Someone must answer in her place. Only then can her name be forgotten by them." Morẹ níkẹ stood up. "Then let me die," her mother screamed. "No!" Grandma held her. Her father shouted, "Don't say that!" Morẹ níkẹ cried harder. "I can't keep running. I can't keep hearing it. If someone must die, then let it be me." The woman in white said, "I will consult again. Return tomorrow. Let me go deeper." As they turned to leave, the woman placed her hand on Grandma's shoulder. "You. Stay." Inside the hut, just the two of them now. The woman in white looked Grandma in the eyes. "You already know," she said. Grandma's lips trembled. "Yes. There is no other way." "Then I will go," Grandma said. "She loves you. That is why I must go." The woman explained how it would happen. She would feel light for one final day. Her energy would return briefly. Her soul would unlace quietly that night. She nodded. "Thank you." Then she stepped outside, straight into the rising sun where her family waited. That day, Grandma was different. She danced while pounding yam. She sang her old wedding songs. She bathed Morẹ níkẹ with warm water and massaged her legs like she did when she was a baby. She told stories under the mango tree. She roasted yam and blew gently on each piece before feeding it to her granddaughter. Morẹ níkẹ noticed. "Grandma, why are you so happy?" Her grandmother smiled. "Because God gave me today." That night, Grandma sat by her mat, watching her granddaughter sleep peacefully for the first time in weeks. She whispered, "Forgive me. This is the only way." She stood, wrapped herself in her favorite wrapper, gold and deep brown, and walked to the backyard under the full moon. She raised her arms and whispered, "Take me." The wind howled, the trees bowed, and then silence. The cock crowed, birds sang. Morẹ sat up with a smile for the first time in weeks. She had slept well. No voices, no scratching, no dreams. She turned to her side. "Grandma?" Silence. She stood and pulled the wrapper gently. Her grandmother was cold, still, eyes closed, but her face peaceful. Morẹ screamed. They buried her that evening. The village came out in hundreds. They cried, they sang. But Morẹ felt something deeper. She whispered to her mother, "She knew." Her mother nodded through tears. "She saved you." They never spoke of it again. But weeks later, as they cleaned out Grandma's things, they found a folded paper inside her Bible. On it, one line was written in old ink. "When the ones we love are in danger, we do not ask who should go, we go." Back in the city, the silence felt heavier than ever. Morẹ stood by the kitchen sink, staring at the water running from the tap. But her eyes saw something else. The backyard, the mango tree, her grandmother's voice, her laughter, her stories, her protection, and her sacrifice. She fell to the floor and wept. "Grandma, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Her mother rushed in, kneeling beside her. "Morẹ, breathe." "It's my fault, Mummy. I shouted at her. I said I'd never come back." Her mother held her tightly. "No, baby. She knew, and she forgave you long before you even left." But Morẹ couldn't stop crying. "I should have listened. I should have believed. I mocked her. I ignored every warning." She held her mother's blouse and sobbed into it. "I promise. I will never disrespect the voice of elders again. Never. Some doors are not meant to be opened. Not every voice deserves an answer. Not every whisper is innocent. And when those who love you warn you of unseen dangers, it's not to scare you, it's to save you." Morẹ learned too late, but you don't have to. Hey, beautiful family. If this story touched you in any way, please take a deep breath and drop a heart in the comments for Grandma. Did it move you? Did it scare you? Did it remind you of something a parent or grandparent once said? Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you would have done if you were in Morẹ's shoes. And remember, in African tradition, stories are not just entertainment. They are warnings, wisdom, and ways to keep our culture alive. If you enjoyed this tale, please like the video so more people can see it, share with someone you love, subscribe to African Tales by Imaid for more powerful stories, and if you'd love to start your own folktale channel or storytelling journey, check the description and send us an email. We'd love to help you get started. Until next time, don't answer your name at midnight.